everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie, back with you with a design team project for Polka Art Studio. And I am using two of their kits. One of them is Countryside Bliss Doors, Houses, and it has windows. And the other one is Vintage Windows. So I'm going to show you how I created a flip with mirrored windows. I'm also going to show you how to make a door to go on a page where the doors open, and then right here I am showing you how I made a hidden paper clip using mirrored images as well. Now the mirrored images I did on my Cricut, and I also did it on Microsoft Paint. So if you have either of those, you would be able to do your mirrored images and be able to do these where they're the same on both sides. If you don't have a Cricut, maybe you have some other software that you can use. So I'm going to show you how I did each one of these. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to create a hidden paper clip. It's pretty simple. You're going to need two pieces of paper. So one of the pieces of paper that I have, which is the pattern paper, I have cut this at 2 3/4 by 6 1/2. I have also cut a plain paper, and that one I have cut at 2 5/8 by 6 3/8. And then I also have a couple of tags there. They are 3 inches by 1 3/8 for the back layer, and the top layer is 1 1/4 by 2 7/8. So all I am doing is folding over each of the pieces together, and then I am putting the pattern paper underneath the green paper, and then I'm adding it with the mirror images on both sides. So right here, I have decided to trim this down a little bit, only because my fussy cut piece is just a little bit smaller. So adjust it based on whatever fussy cut piece you decide to use if you decide to do this project. So here I am just rounding the corners on both of the pieces at the bottom. I'm using Distress Ink Vintage Photo just to go around all the pieces, just to give it a little bit of pop as you put it together, and that will give it some interest as well. So I'm going to be using Fabri-Fix or Fabri-Tac, whichever you have, to glue these two pieces together over the paper clip. I feel that it works better using that type of glue rather than maybe a art glitter glue. It just gives a little bit more stability and secures it really well. So I'm going to do that on both sides of this and secure my paper clip in between that solid piece of paper. Now I'm going to use my art glitter glue and go ahead and glue on 3 sides of my piece of the window that's going to go on the front. So I want this to be a pocket front and back. So what I'm doing is just doing 3 sides, and I'll glue that on the front on one side, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now because they're mirror image, I'm just going to match it up as best that I can, and I have added some ink to that white side, so if it does peek out a little bit, you'll see the distress ink on there. So I'm just securing that down. I'm going to do the other side the same way. So next we're going to put the tags together, and so all I'm doing is matching up the corners on my top piece and my bottom piece, and then I'm just going to cut the sides. So I'll cut one side and then the other side, so that will give it a small border all the way around that's even. So I'm going to do that on both of those. And then I'm just going to add some distress ink on both pieces, and then I'm going to be gluing them together. Okay, so that finishes our hidden paper clip. And you can see it'll go over a page and it goes down nicely, but you also have little tags peeking out. Now I didn't take the time, but you can always add eyelets and ribbon, and those can peek out the top of your journal. So that concludes our hidden paper clip. Okay, next we're going to do the mirrored image house flip. And I chose the houses for these, but in the one kit, which is the Countryside Bliss, you have an option of houses, doors, windows, so you can choose whichever one that you want to do. So I decided that I thought the houses would be fun to do, and I did these on my Cricut, and I did these mirror imaged. So all I'm doing right here is adding some distress ink around both pieces. Okay, so you will need a strip that's 1 inch, and you'll fold that in half, which is what I'm doing here. Now the size of this, the length, depends on what piece you're going to be using. So I ended up trimming this down. I probably cut it maybe about 3 or 4 inches. I didn't know what I was going to need, but all it is 1 inch, and you want to make sure that you score it and fold it and crease it front ways and back ways so it moves freely. So here's where I'm seeing that I need to trim this down just to the side. So just have a strip of paper that's 1 inch, and then figure it out based on your piece that you're going to be using for this flip. So I've scored it, I've also done a little ink on the edge, and now I'm going to be gluing the first piece onto that strip. So I'm just lining it up here and adding the glue. And then we're going to turn it over, and you can see I have inked on the back of both, because if some white peeks through, at least it won't be completely white. So on this one, I'm doing the same thing, but this one, you're putting glue over the whole entire piece. And then you'll be matching it up when you lay it down to the piece that we put the tab on. Now just glue them down, carefully matching up all of the edges. And that creates our double-sided flip. Now you can add this to a page, you can add it to a front cover, you can just get creative with it. So that is our double flip page. Moving right along, we're going to work on doing the door page. So for this one, you're going to need, again, mirror images. Now these I did on my paint and I cut them out myself. So it's Microsoft Paint I used. I just brought it over and then I did one way and then I mirror imaged the other one. So for this one, you're going to need just a piece of paper that you want to use. I decided to use a floral paper. As the doors open, you would see the floral. So you're going to be needing that about 5 1/4 by 7. But again, you can adjust it based on where you're going to be putting your page. Okay, for this, you're going to need an X-Acto knife, whatever it is you have. We're going to be doing some, actually what I'm showing you here is actually incorrect. I'm going to show you exactly where we're going to cut. So we're going to cut down the center of the door, and then we're going to cut down at the top, but not at that rounded part what I was showing here, but at the straight part right above the windows. So you'll see me cutting that here. And just take your time on this, and then you're also going to want to do the bottom. And that's going to be on each door. So you are going to be opening those up. Now the second piece that I'll show you will be cutting out those doors, and it's a mirror image, so they're going to go on the doors on the inside. So when you open the doors, you will have something good to look at, not just white paper. Okay, so for this one, we're going to just be cutting out the doors themselves. So that's the only part of this piece we're going to use. And because it's mirror imaged, they're going to go on the back side of the same door that you see here on the front. So in other words, you're going to take that same side and put it on the back side of the door that it matches to. If that makes, hopefully that makes some sense here. Okay, so now that the doors are cut out, you're just matching them up to the doors that are on the front, and it's a mirror image to it. Now we're going to end up inking these, gluing them down, and then we'll do a little bit of trimming. Okay, so here I'm just going to use some art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue each of the doors that we just cut out to the back of the matching door. So just take your time on this, line them up, and they are not going to be perfectly matching. So again, like I said earlier, we are going to do a little bit of trimming on here. So we're just going to glue these down and then we'll trim it up. Okay, so now that they're glued down, you can add some ink to some of the areas, but I have some longer areas that I do want to trim up. So just take your time on this, and just trim it up. As you see here, I have some white border around the entire door, so just trim it carefully, and then you can re-ink it as well. Okay, now that we've got our door all put together, we are going to glue it to the front of this page, and then this page can get glued to a page in your journal. So I'm just going to be using some puff dots because I want this to pop up a little bit, so I'm not going to glue it completely straight down. So just add some puff tape all the way around. I'm just using dots because I have them out and I've got some small areas. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, and then just carefully place it where you want it. So when your door's open, you've got at least something beautiful to look at. Now you could do anything you want to on the inside. And as far as closing the doors, they really will lay pretty flat. So I don't think you need to worry too much about that. So that is our last project. So here's our two doors, one that I did previously and this one. And they open up and it's such a beautiful, beautiful picture to see, at least on the inside. So that concludes my video for today. And so we have the window flip, we have the house flip, and then we also have the hidden paper clips. So I really hope you guys give this a try, and if you have some way of mirror imaging some of the beautiful, beautiful pictures that are in both of these kits. And anyway, if you do, we'd love to see it. Polka Art has a Facebook group. And so, yeah, show us what you create. So you guys all have a great day. God bless you all, and we'll see you at the next video. Bye.